the 24-17 win in overtime over Northern Colorado in the home opener. Got 4 Kiowa student athletes here for the media, starting down there. Niall Dickel, Roman Tillman, LJ Phillips Jr., and Caden Crawford. And with that, we'll go ahead and open it to questions for the media.
Yeah, LJ, 301 yards. Just kind of what's going through your mind right now after the win?
Shout out to the offensive line. They made me look pretty. That was all those guys. And I just want to thank God. You know, I've been praying. You know, being a student athlete's hard. Sometimes my confidence was kind of low sometimes. And I just want to thank God for this one in the offensive line.
And Roman, multiple defensive stops for you guys late in that game. Just what's the mindset when it's a 3rd or 4th and short there?
We're just thinking to stay poised. We watched a lot of film, and I think film study played into a key role on that. Just knowing what they're going to come out and do, and staying poised and playing our keys and doing what we're good at, and that's playing hard and getting all 11 halves to the ball.
Yeah, Caden, you guys, stopped them multiple times there on defense, like what he just said. Kind of how do you move forward and, build off this performance here next week?
I think we did really well this week, all throughout preparation, through practice, through film study. And I think it showed today. We, got put in some tough situations, just whatever, and we, bend but don't break. But I think, we just got to keep improving every week, and I think we have done that through 3 weeks so far. So.
Same thing for you, kind of just what was the team's mindset throughout practice? What was being preached by Coach Johansson here all week?
Yeah, no, just improve every week. Obviously it's football. Every game there's gonna be mistakes. There's gonna be good things. So just trying to improve each of those mistakes every week. Just keep the intensity going forward, and that's really how you get done.
Any other questions for the student athletes? All right, thank you guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, head coach Travis Johansson here, following the 24-17 overtime win against Northern Colorado in the home opener, and his first career win as head coach. Coach, we'll start with opening comments for you, and then into media.
Yeah, I think number one, great fight out of our football team. Certainly wasn't, from an execution standpoint, everything we wanted. I think we'll always continue to be super objective like that and make sure that, we continue to improve week to week. I can't say enough about the effort and spirit of the group, particularly, up front offensively. LJ Phillips, our entire offense, running the football, kind of when everybody in the building knew we were, and still remaining really productive. Defensively, making the team defend all 100 yards of the field and giving ourselves a chance to win it in OT. We left, I believe, 3 drives on the 1-yard line and continued to fight. And I think we're going to need that moving forward. We've got a spirited group that's focused on improving, and we understand where we're at right now and what needs to happen next. But I think we showed the characteristics of a winning football team, and we've got a lot to build on from there. I think the crowd was exceptional and critical in a lot of that down the stretch. We were able to play down in our student section. That group, made it really tough on Northern Colorado to communicate down the stretch, and hopefully that continues to build for us as it's certainly a weapon. So a lot to take away from this, both positively and negatively, and look forward to doing that next week when we play Drake.
Yeah, Coach, first win. Just kind of how does it feel to have the first one under your belt?
Good. I think anytime we win a football game, it's certainly special. College football games are difficult to win, regardless of anything. They're a really talented football team, much improved. We saw that and knew that off the Colorado State tape, and we knew it was going to be a tall task to beat that team. They're not going to beat themselves, and certainly didn't today, and made some big plays down the stretch. But it means a lot, for our football team to get a win here, get some positive reinforcement to what we're doing, and give us something to build off for next week.
Yeah, they had a lot of success early on with that tight end wildcat formation. What were some of the adjustments you guys made at halftime?
Yeah, a little wrinkle for them. We got into some more goal line type of structure, some red zone type of structure to try and handle that. And really, when we were kind of watching the tape on the sideline, there was some kind of unforced errors in our end, getting a little quick out of gap and into our secondary gaps and fits a little bit. So we tightened that up a little bit, and when they went to it down on the goal line there towards the end, we had it pretty shored up.
And you talk a lot about next man up. Charles goes down last week. LJ steps up. Can you just talk about his performance today?
Yeah, I mean, the reality is nobody's going to feel sorry for us or anybody when we lose players or they go down. You know, there's no replacing Charles Pierre, but we certainly know what we have in LJ Phillips. Man, he's a special kid. He's a different style of runner. It's tough when you're trying to defend LJ for 35 carries. Really, really proud of him, but we've always known what we had in LJ. He was waiting for his opportunity, worked while he waited, and was able to put that on display. And I think everybody sees how good he can be when he's kind of the feature back.
Coach, just how did this victory, spark a much-needed change of direction for the team overall? Started with 2 losses there. Just how does this win change the direction of your team?
Yeah, I think anytime you're part of our process isn't going to change, and it's not anything different than we've been doing for years here. And you want to give the guys a positive outcome after working that way. And so I think when guys, any athlete, person in life gets positive reinforcement working that way, there's more belief, there's more confidence. And although we won't certainly brush anything under the rug from this week, it gives us, the assurance that we're doing the right things the right way, improving every week, and have the ability to do that again next week.
Absolutely. And just from your perspective, what did you feel was the biggest difference in between today's performance and you feel those games there before?
I don't know that there was that much different. We executed better. I think we played with more poise after, tough scenarios. We throw an interception. We came back and had a 97-yard drive for a touchdown later on in the game. We give up a big play. Those balls didn't end up in the end zone. We got stops in the red zone. I want to say they were 1 for 4 touchdowns in the red zone today. That's winning football. And so I think our resilience showed up a little bit on top of some better execution.
Perfect. This final one. You're back at home against Drake again next week. Second week straight, you'll be here at home. Just kind of how is it important to take advantage of that game to stack back-to-back wins here early on?
Well, I'm very familiar with that coaching staff over at Drake. That is a really, really good outfit. That's a really well-coached team. They're going to be tough, competitive, not beat themselves. We're going to have our hands full. Everybody that plays them will have their hands full. I have a lot of respect for that crew. It's a different coaching staff than it was a year ago, and I really we need to make sure we have an unbelievable Sunday and Monday first. They will be a tall task no matter who they play. We've got to be improvement focused.
Anything else? All right.
Thanks, guys.